What 50 Said by Robert Frost, 1874 to 1963. When I was young, my teachers were the old. I gave up fire for form till I was cold. I suffered like a metal being cast. I went to school to age, to learn the past. Now when I am old, my teachers are the young. What can't be moulded must be cracked and sprung. I strain at lessons fit to start a suture. I go to school, to youth, to learn the future. Okay, this is a poem by Robert Frost. Robert Frost was one of the major poets of the 20th century from the United States. He was born in California and he went to Massachusetts. He spent a lot of his life as a teacher in Amherst College in Massachusetts. He went to Harvard University. He spent 2 years there, but he didn't finish and he didn't get a degree. So what's this poem about? Well, it says, what 50 said, and I think this is looking at the world from the point of being 50. He's reflecting on being young and what you learn when you're young and how that creates your identity, and then you go, or is part of the creation of your identity, and then you go into the future and you get older, and when you're 50 you discover that the things that you learned at school are not really valid, and now you need to learn new lessons and new things to see what's going to happen in the future. But now you're no longer young and malleable, and this is perhaps almost a difficult problem. So when you're young, you go to school to get old, to be a quiet member of society. But when you're old, you then need to learn about the changes in society, the way society is so different from when you were young, and you need to learn the lessons associated with being 50, with being old. So, what 50 said. So he's looking back. When I was young, my teachers were the old. So as a young man, when you're young, all of your teachers are old people. They're the old. And young people learn from the old. And he's wondering about the things that he learns. He's wondering why young people learn from old people. I gave up fire for form till I was cold. So when I was young, I was full of fire, I was full of energy, and school tamed me. School made me fit into the forms that society wanted, and I became cold. My fire went out. I became a cooperative member of society, and my fire became cold. I suffered like a metal being cast. So I was like molten metal poured into a mould, made to fit in a mould. And this suffered because this was not what I wanted to be. I had to fit in the forms that society wanted for me. I had to fit to follow the ways that my teachers made for me, and I suffered to being cast into the form that they wanted. I went to school to age, to learn the past. So I went to school to get old, to learn about the past, to remain in the past, not to move forward, not to learn new things, but to remain in the past, to stay learning about the past without moving forward. So I'm young and the teachers are old people, and I was full of energy, and I gave up that energy to fit the form that the old teachers wanted, and I suffered, and I was a molten metal poured into a cast, and I went to school so that they made me old. They made me learn about the past. They made me follow the ways of the past. And then he looks at this on the other side. Now when I am old, my teachers are the young. So now I'm old, but the people who teach me are the young. I learn from the young. The young tell me what I need to do. What can't be moulded must be cracked and sprung. So I'm too old to be moulded again. My fire is gone. You can't pour my metal into a mould. I've got to be broken and put together to do my best in this modern world. That I've got to learn the modern ways. I strain at lessons fit to start a suture. A suture is a stitch when you've cut yourself. You go to the hospital and they stitch your skin back together. So he doesn't like these new lessons, because these new lessons are different from the way he was taught. That this is a new world. This is a new way of going forward. And this is almost fit to break him again. It's very uncomfortable to learn these new lessons. And these aren't interesting for me. I go to school to youth to learn the future. So now I go to school to become younger. In the original one, to age and learn the past. Here, to become younger and to learn what's going to happen in the future, to learn how things are going to change. But I'm now from the past. My teachers were old and they made me in this way, and now the world has changed. The world is different, and I still have the learning, the experiences, the emotions that I had when I was a child, and these still deeply affect the way I view the world. But now the world has changed, and I need to learn to live in a different world. Now, one thing I'd like to point out as well with this poem is, look at the way there are full stops after each line. This is very clearly creating an atmosphere, and it's saying that all of these are, perhaps to me, the dogmatic statements of different people. And one other thing I missed while I was analysing, fire for form. That's a really nice alliteration. I gave up fire for form. Fire for form. So anyway, enough. What 50 Said by Robert Frost.